Hi, this is Nirvana YouTube channel. Today we going to learn about why do Buddhists believe in life after death. Did you know that death is not the end of life, it is merely the end of the body we inhabit in this life, but our spirit will still remain and seek out through the need of attachment to a new body and new life. If you are still not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please subscribe and comment your thoughts about our videos. Buddhists believe in life after death because the Buddha taught that human beings are each born an infinite number of times, unless they achieve nirvana. In the Dhammapada the Buddha states, "Long is the cycle of birth and death to the fool who does not know the true path." The Dhammapada contains many other teachings about samsara, enlightenment, and nirvana. One road leads to wealth, another road leads to nirvana. Let the mendicant, the disciple of Buddha, learn this and not strive for honor but seek wisdom. The Buddha taught his disciples not to fear death. This has been interpreted by Buddhists as suggesting that if they live well, their rebirth will be good. After his enlightenment, the Buddha could remember his previous lives. Some of these previous lives are recorded in the Buddhist scripture, the Jataka. The wheel of existence shows the different realms Buddhists believe you can be reborn into. Belief in life after death may be influenced by the meaning and purpose it gives to the lives of Buddhists. Death and the impermanence of life. In the teaching of the Buddha, all of us will pass away eventually as a part in the natural process of birth, old age, and death, and that we should always keep in mind the impermanence of life. The life that we all cherish and wish to hold on. To Buddhism, however, death is not the end of life. It is merely the end of the body we inhabit in this life, but our spirit will still remain and seek out through the need of attachment to a new body and new life. Where they will be born is a result of the past and the accumulation of positive and negative action, and the resultant karma, cause and effect, is a result of one's past actions. This would lead to the person to be reborn in one of 6 realms, which are heaven, human beings, asura, hungry ghost, animal, and hell. Realms, according to the severity of one's karmic actions. Buddhists believe, however, none of these places are permanent and one does not remain in any place indefinitely. So we can say that in Buddhism, life does not end, merely goes on in other forms that are the result of accumulated karma. Buddhism is a belief that emphasizes the impermanence of lives, including all those beyond the present life. With this in mind, we should not fear death as it will lead to rebirth. The fear of death stemmed from the fear of cease to be existent and losing one's identity and foothold in the world. We see our death coming long before its arrival. We notice impermanence in the changes we see around us and to us in the arrival of aging and the suffering due to losing our youth. Once we were strong and beautiful, and as we age, as we approach our final moments of life, we realize how fleeting such a comfortable place actually was. Grieving. It is natural to grieve the loss of family members and others we knew, as we adjust to living without their presence and missing them as part of our lives. The death of a loved one, or even someone we were not close to, is a terribly painful event. As time goes on and the people we know pass away along the journey of life, we are reminded of our own inevitable ends in waiting, and everything is a blip of transience and impermanent. At a certain moment, the world seems suddenly so empty and the sense of desperation appears to be eternity. The greater the element of grief and personal loss, one tends to feel sorry for oneself. Some of us may have heard the story of the woman who came to the Buddha in great anguish, carrying her dead child, pleading him to bring the child back to life. The Buddha said, "Bring to me a mustard seed from any household where no one had ever died and I will fulfill your wish." The woman's attempt to search for such seed from houses were in vain, and of course she could not find any household in which no one had ever died, and suddenly she realized the universality of death. Karma. According to Buddhism, our lives, and all that occurs in our lives, is a result of karma. Every action creates a new karma. This karma, or action, is created with our body, our speech, or our mind, and this action leaves a subtle imprint on our mind which has the potential to ripen as future happiness or future suffering, depending on whether the action was positive or negative. If we bring happiness to people, we will be happy. If we create suffering, we will experience suffering either in this life or in a future one. This is called the law of karma, or the law of cause and effect. Karmic law will lead the spirit of the dead to be reborn, in realms which are suitable appropriate to their karmic accumulations. Our good actions are an excellent way to prepare for our death. Not performing evil deeds, keeping our heart and mind pure, doing no harm, no killing, sexual misconduct, or lying, not using drugs or alcohol has very positive merit which enable us to die as we have lived. The way we pass reflects the way we lived our lives, a good death putting a good stamp on a good life. As Leonardo da Vinci once wrote in his notebook, just as a well-spent day brings happy sleep, so a life well spent brings a happy death. If we have lived a life of emotional turmoil, of conflict, selfish desire, unconcerned for others, our dying will be full of regrets, troubles, and pain. It is far better to care for the lives for all around us rather than spending a fortune in prolonging life or seeking ways to extend it for those who can afford it, at the expense of relieving suffering in more practical ways. Improving the moral and spiritual quality of life improves its quality for us all rather than the selfish individualism that benefits the elite few who draw most resources. Preparing for death and Buddhist rituals associated with dying. Buddhist clergy often remind their followers about closeness of death, emphasize the importance in getting to know death and take time to prepare for their own demise. How do we prepare for death? It is really simple, just behave in a manner which you believe is responsible, good, and positive for yourself and towards others. This leads to calmness, happiness, and an outlook which contributes to a calm and controlled mind at the time of death. Through this positive and compassionate outlook of life, always being aware of the impermanence of life and having a loving attitude towards all living things in this transient existence, we will be free of fear in opposite to grasping selfishly to life due to not having experienced happiness in life. Having lead a responsible and compassionate life and have no regrets when death approaches enables us to surrender without a struggle to the inevitable and in a state of grace which need not be as uncomfortable as we are led to believe. A dying Buddhist person is likely to request the service of a monk or nun in their particular tradition to assist in this process further, making the transitional experience of death as peaceful and free of fear as can be possibly achieved. Before and at the moment of death and for a period after death, the monk, nun, or spiritual friends will read prayers and chants from the Buddhist scriptures. In Buddhist traditions, this deathbed chanting is regarded as very important and is ideally the last thing the Buddhist hears. Buddhists believe that we can actively assist and bring relief to the dying members through assisting the dying through the process of dying. Through Buddhist doctrine, we are told by Buddhist masters that the final moment of our consciousness is paramount, the most important moment of all. If the ill person is in hospital and the diagnosis is grim that the person cannot possibly survive, the family should call in the Buddhist priest to pray for the loved one so that at the final moment, the right state of mind has been generated within the person and they can find their way into a higher state of rebirth as they leave the present lives. The nurses and family members are not supposed to touch the corpse, having to wait 3 to 8 hours after breathing ceases before touching the body for any preparation after the death. We Buddhists believe that the spirit of a person will linger on for some time and can be affected by what happened to the corpse. It is important that the body is treated gently and with respect and that the priest can help the spirit continues its journey calmly to higher states, not causing the spirit to becoming angry and confused and may be more likely to be reborn into the lower realms. Some spirits are reborn 3 days, 21 days, 49 days, or 100 days after death, and in some cases even 7 years. Some cases can be even more years. Rebirth. The concept of rebirth or reincarnation has become more popular in the West in recent years due to the influence of Tibetan Buddhism, especially the Tibetan Book of Living and Dying, by Sogyal Rinpoche, 1992, became a bestseller in the USA and has been widely read throughout the developed countries by new generations who are concerned with alternative thinking and Eastern cultural perspectives. Naturally, people concerned with life beyond death was stimulated by the ideas contained in such philosophies and beliefs. Nirvana. The supreme aim of Buddhism is to obtain nirvana or enlightenment. This translated means a state of liberation or illumination from the limitations of existence. It is the liberation from the cycle of rebirth through countless lives up and down the 6 states of existence. It is obtained through the extinction of desire. Nirvana is a state that is obtainable in this life through the right aspiration, purity of life, and the elimination of egotism. This cessation of existence as we know it, the attainment of being, as distinct from becoming. 1. The Buddha speaks of it as unborn, unoriginated, uncreated, unformed, contrasting it with the born, originated, created, and formed phenomenal world. Those who have obtained the state of nirvana are called Buddhas. Gautama Siddhartha had obtained this state and had become a Buddha at 35. However, it is now believed that it was only after he had passed away that he reached such a place of perfect tranquility, because some residue of human defilement would continue to exist as long as his physical body existed. According to Buddhism, if a human does not obtain nirvana or enlightenment, as it is known, the person cannot escape the cycle of death and rebirth and are inevitably be reborn into the 6 possible states beyond this our present life, these being in order from the highest to lowest. Heaven. In Buddhism there are 37 different levels of heaven where beings experience peace and long-lasting happiness without suffering in the heavenly environment. Human life. In Buddhism we can be reborn into human life over and over, either wealthy or poor, beautiful or not so, and every state between and both as it is served up to us. Anything can happen, as is found in human life and society all around us as we are familiar with in the day-to-day human world in its myriad of possibilities. What we get is a result of our karma of what we have dragged with us from previous existences and how it manifests in our temporary present lives. Asura. A spiritual state of demigods but not the happy state experienced by the gods in the heavens above this state. The demigods are consumed with jealousy, because unlike humans, they can clearly see the superior situation of the gods in the heavens above them. They constantly compete and struggle with the gods due to their dissatisfaction with their desires from the others. Hungry ghost. This spiritual realm of those who committed excessive amounts of evil deeds and who are obsessed with finding food and drink which they cannot experience and thus remain unsatisfied and tortured by the experience. They exhaust themselves in the constant fruitless searching. Animals. This realm is visible to humans and it is where spirits of humans are reborn if they have killed animals or have committed a lot of other evil acts. Animals do not have the freedom that humans would experience due to being a subject constantly hunted by humans, farmed and used in farming, also as beasts for entertainment. Hell. This realm is not visible to humans. It is a place where beings born there experience a constant state of searing pain, and the various types of hell realms reads like a variety of horrific torture chambers. Those with a great deal of negative karma can remain in such places for eons of time. To conclude, as already mentioned, none of us can avoid death, and if we are not free from the vicious cycle of death and rebirth, we are doomed to the endless cycles of life and death and its paradoxical nature of suffering, of happiness and sadness, youth and aging, healthiness and sickness, pain and death, all because we are so attached to the existence in the first place. The Buddha urged us to prepare for death, to prepare for that journey by cleansing the mind and not being so attached to things, to be able to let go and release ourselves for needing to be, from needing to have. Through this we will not suffer so much as we pass through the final stage of the present life. We can let go, be grateful for what we had but not clutch to it, not try to ensure permanency and cause ourselves to suffer more than we need to. This way we can end the cycle and leave forever, obtaining nirvana and release from the cycle of death and rebirth. Hope you understand that death is not the end of life, it is merely the end of the body we inhabit in this life. Thanks for watching. Let's meet in few days with a new lesson. Comment your thoughts about today's lesson and please don't forget to subscribe to Nirvana YouTube channel and hit the bell icon for more future Buddha lessons like this. Have a nice day.